I'm on a kayak on the lake. This will be my last journey on the lake. This foray to lake country is ending tomorrow. It does make a nice change of pace, and again, it's something I really enjoy. It's something I would like to be able to do more of. But it makes a nice change of pace scenery-wise, I think. I wanted to talk about Thomas Crooks, the alleged assassin, the alleged assassin wannabe. And I guess if he was the assassin, or if he was the shooter, then he did kill one person, just not his target. But of course that raises the question, was he the only one? Or did he have help? Did he have an accomplice? Which is what I've been hearing more about lately. I don't know what to think. I haven't, I'm not knee deep in that hoopla right now. I'm just sort of skirting the edges of it, reading little things that people are saying here and there. I wanted to make a point here in this video. Now, as far as everything, my perspective, my point of view on the event itself, you can find it laid out pretty succinctly on my Substack page. If that interests you to see just sort of my thoughts. I'm sticking to the facts, just the facts, ma'am, kind of approach. I find interestingly that you stick to the facts with this case, and these are facts that are even acknowledged by everybody. These are not wild and crazy things that you're hearing from dark corners of the internet, or this dubious sources. These are all things that have been confirmed by mainstream sources, and it all adds up to something that suggests to me much more than just an incompetence due to DEI, quote-unquote, reforms in the Secret Service, although that the Secret Service behavior during this event was clearly left a lot to be desired, but maybe that was by design. I'm not saying anything definitively because I don't know anything definitively, but I'm just saying, you can look at certain facts and certain lines and see how they line up, and Occam's razor comes into focus. Occam's razor is usually talked about by people who are trying to refute conspiracy theories. They say, the most sensible explanation is usually the truest one, or the one that makes the most sense, the one that most easily connects two dots. A straight line is connected most compellingly with a simple straight line between the two dots. And when there are multiple dots and they all line up together, Occam's razor tells you that there might be some dubious shit going on, which I think is definitely the case here. Now, I want to say in this video, in a way, that I'd like to see people lay off the alleged shooter, Thomas Crooks, and I'm feeling like I'm probably all alone in saying this, but it's sort of become standard boilerplate commentary from the Matt Walsh types and others. Taylor Marshall was also going on like this about, oh, this dork, he's such a dork, he's such a loser, he got picked on in high school, he was an incel, all of this, look at him, look at his physio, he's such a dork, he's such a nerd. All of this egregious attack on his physiognomy, on what have you. Just essentially saying, this kid was a nerd and a dork and he got bullied, and it's taking and he just probably liked to play Dungeons and Dragons in his mom's basement. There needs to be a moratorium on the in your mom's basement joke. I've said this before. It was funny the one time on Saturday Night Live several years ago, like in the 80s, when William Shatner was, the sketch was William Shatner was addressing a bunch of Star Trek nerds at a convention, and he was saying, "Come on, you people, you're pathetic. Move out of your parents' basement." And then it was a fresh sort of thing to say. But everybody who says some iteration of the, he probably lived in his parents' basement or in his mom's basement, it's just so boring. It's such a boring insult. It's such a cliched insult. You can do better, If you're gonna pile on this guy who's now dead, apparently. I know some people don't believe that, but that's what seems to be the case. He seems to have died. If you're gonna pile on this guy, at least try to be a little more creative with your insults. But it's just interesting that they have to resort to that. They have to pick on this guy. Now, I want to say a couple things. I guess the way they justify it is he was a killer. He did a bad thing. He did a really, really bad thing. And so now it's insult time. We're gonna make fun of him. I want to say a couple things. First of all, I don't know that this guy was in his right mind when he did what he allegedly did. This is carrying some pretty strong MK Ultra vibes to me. If somebody is under the spell of MK Ultra, if we're talking about a hypnotized person, a brainwashed person, a truly brainwashed person, like Sirhan Sirhan apparently was in 1968, then we're not talking about somebody who has chosen this path for himself. We're talking about somebody who has been steered in this direction. And even if it wasn't so much of a MK Ultra situation as it was, people in some creeps in the intelligence services just alighting on this kid and saying, "Oh, he's a loser. He's obviously angry at the world. He's somebody we can recruit and manipulate to do this thing that we want him to do, and then he'll make the ideal patsy." Even if that's the case, then he's still. If it's MK Ultra, then there's no personal responsibility on his part. But if it was a case where he had his faculties about him, but he was just successfully manipulated, well, he was still in a way a victim. So just lay off the guy. I would say I'd lay off with these tiresome insults. I guess it's just like me to say, "Hey, stop picking on the nerd." But I don't hear anybody else saying anything like that right now. I just, I know how bad the online left can be towards the quote-unquote incels, the undesirable men. And now what you're hearing is mostly, right-leaning people, Trump-supporting people saying things like, he's just an incel. He couldn't get laid. He was a loser. He was ugly. He looked like a nerd. He probably didn't have any friends. Is that really? It's not that classy, is what I'm saying. So you're probably not going to stop it, but I'm just gonna say here, I wish you would stop it. I also want to follow that up by saying, I didn't watch I watched hardly any of the convention. Basically none of it. Basically none of the Republican convention. But I did watch a part of Trump's speech when he was talking about the shooting, and I have to say, for Trump, he was quite classy. He was quite restrained. He sounded like a man who maybe, whose brush with death had maybe sobered him a bit. And I have absolutely no problem with anything that he said. He said everything. He didn't come across as obnoxiously braggadocious. He covered the event, in a way that I thought was not only really good, rhetorically speaking, not only excellent, rhetoric to fire up his fans, but also he showed compassion. He talked about the people, the man who was killed. He talked about the men who were injured. And he didn't spend any time talking about the killer, or the would-be killer, the would-be assassin, the alleged would-be assassin, if he acted alone, of course. Or is he just, was he just always intended to be a patsy? Whatever the case was, Trump didn't say, oh, he was a loser. He was, he was obviously some guy who just needed to get laid or anything like that. He didn't dwell on the shooter. He dwelt upon the way that people responded to the crisis. And of course he didn't even throw his Secret Service under the bus, which he had every right to do, considering how poorly they reacted, how the Keystone Cops level of behavior that they displayed. But he talked glowingly of them in ways that they did not deserve. So I'm saying, if Trump can rise above something like this, and he's the guy who was getting shot at, then surely you can as well. Right-leaning analyzers of this event, when you speak about Thomas Crooks, I feel nothing but pity for Thomas Crooks right now, given his youth. I don't see a huge degree of culpability. I don't know what was pounded into his mind. I don't know whether he was MK Ultra'd. I see that as a very, very distinct possibility. But in any case, the real culprits of this are the ones who set him up, and he was obviously supposed to be a patsy. He was obviously supposed to die and get blamed. His shot was supposed to, he was supposed to hit Trump with his bullet, or the other shooter, if there was another shooter, was supposed to hit Trump with his bullet. And he was just meant to be a patsy that everybody hated and looked down on. And now he's dead. He's not the source of the evil. Or he's not. He's only a tiny vector. The real evil is, the ones who pull the strings, the ones who were behind all of this, who are probably not going to even get any kind of punishment. The high-level people. Direct your ire towards them, not towards this kid, this hapless kid. Rest his soul. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think below. Thanks for watching.